Okay.
You start with?
Yeah, I'm starting on the left with Henny. Okay. Are we? Okay. Let's begin by looking at the issue of security. When you think about the future, how important is it to you? How important is security to you?
Very, very important. I'd very much like to think that my children are able to live here nicely and quietly, enjoy the country and enjoy living here, and without being too scared, frightened, having somewhere to think all the time about what might happen. Yeah.
Moni, let's come over to you. I mean, you've lived here for virtually all your life. I mean, what does the issue of security mean to you? I mean, it's a life or death matter, isn't it, for you, or what?
Well, actually, I would say this. It's something that you get used to. The feeling of security or of insecurity is something that you get used to, and in actually day to day you don't think about it. It's something that just bypasses you. But when a security incidents do happen, if a Katyusha fall or infiltrators try to get through, then it becomes a very real issue and it affects your life very, very definitely.
Does the issue of security make you question whether you should do a deal of some sort with the Palestinians?
No. With the?
With the Palestinians?
Oh, sure. As far as I'm concerned, the sooner that we sit down at the table with the Palestinians and start talking, I think it would be much better, because that's the only way to solve the issue. And by putting it off, we'd only have more bloodshed, more lives will be lost. But eventually that's what will happen. We'll have to sit down and work out something so that these two peoples can live together in Israel and learn to live with each other and deal with each other.
David, can I come across to you? Living where you do, thinking the way I imagine you have thought for many years about personal security, what are your fears when it comes to the issue of making peace with the Palestinians, the Arab world in general?
Well, I think everybody likes to feel secure. I don't have any fears about making peace. Quite the contrary. I think that peace is the only real solution for the security problem. No, I don't have any fears. I don't have any fears. I believe that it's possible.
What would you say then to those who would argue that Israel will never be safe if it gives back the West Bank in Gaza?
Well, I've never agreed with them. And I think that it's the only way that Israel will be safe. I believe that we can live side by side. I mean, in reading history, France fought Germany and Germany fought Britain, and they live peacefully one next to the other. And there's no reason why we shouldn't live peacefully with the Arabs, whether it be Palestinians or Syrians or Lebanese.
Dורון? Any doubts in your mind about, I mean, when you hear all the talk about, you know, international conferences, peace processes, etc., what are the doubts in your mind? What are the fears about talking to the Arabs and giving away land? Are there any?
Of course there are. I'm afraid, and I'm sure that we should be always afraid when we're talking about our lives, because any mistakes that we'll do will affect us immediately in a way that we can't handle anymore. But I'm sure that, like David says, that the only thing that we can do rationally just now is talk with them and speak with them and we should give it a try. Otherwise, the situation will be much hard for our future.
How much of a factor for you is security when it comes to the issue of peace?
I mean, what I think is that it is very important, but it's not the most important things in our life. I mean, to put it in the first place, it's right, but to put it as a thing, as a issue that prevent us from dealing with the Palestinians is wrong. It's very, very important. We should deal with that. We should find a way to live with it. I'm sure that we won't be secure in the first time as we are now, but in the long run we'll be much more safe to live in peace.
What would you say to those people who argue that Israel can never give back land because of the security factor, because the country will never be safe?
How can I persuade them to change their mind? You mean? There are a lot of ways. One of them is tell them that what they're saying is not working anymore. I mean, it proved it failed. This point of view. Let's try a new one, fresh point of view. Let's try it.
Moni, let's come back to you. Moni's in the second one along. If you're going into negotiations with the Arab world seriously, can you bury the past 40 years of say what's happened along this border?
Definitely. If you're going to make peace with somebody, so you're making it for the future, and what you have to try and work out is some way that you can live together peacefully in the future. What happened in the past becomes history. Maybe in a collective memory, it will not be a pleasant thing, but that's the way life is. That's the way history is. And when you sit down to talk to make peace, you make it for the future, for yourself and for the future generation. So that shouldn't be a problem.
You make it sound, if I may say so, all very simple. But there are many Israelis, aren't there, who look at the way you've lived, virtually, under constant threat down the years, and they say that this is what it will be like if we give up the territory. What are the lessons for you of the way you've lived on the border here between Arab and Israeli for so long?
Well, I would say that it's a very difficult question to answer. But as I said before, what was. It wasn't easy living here over the years. But I see no other way of solving the Israeli problem, but of accepting the fact that you have to sit down, talk to the Arabs, and work out a solution that will enable both nations to live together.
And give back land if necessary, even if that endangers your security? And
give back land if necessary, but not to the point where it endangers our existence, our ability to remain here and exist here peacefully. But definitely give back land the way we did in Sinai, and give back the West Bank or parts of the West Bank, because without that we won't have peace. And I think that peace is the most important issue at the moment that we have to deal with.
Henny, let's come back to you. I started at the top. What do you think when you hear Israelis saying that we simply can't give back the territory because we'll never be safe?
I disagree. I think we should, like Moni said, we should sit down, talk together, and give back land if necessary, with being prepared to all kind of new rules or measurements for our security. If you're talking about new borders. But I think definitely we should give back land and have the Palestinians have their own state.
I find it rather surprising that all of you, I mean, I'm not surprised to hear that you believe there should be a deal, but I find it rather surprising that for many years you've been held up by your successive governments in this country as the very people. You're the people that Israel went to war for in 1982, Peace for Galilee, wasn't it? I mean, it was along this border. What is the experience of living so close to the Arab world and coming under attack? What has that done to you in terms of the way you think? Anybody? David?
Well, the fact is that we've lived here for 40 years. We've lived a full and a healthy life. We tried to build something that was good and experimental. We perhaps succeeded in part, but I don't think that it's been that much of a problem. I don't think that living along the border, well, it's had its problems, but I don't think that that it's not possible. I think that we can certainly live with each other. When we had no fences along the Lebanese border, there was a certain amount of contact, and I think we could really be friends. And I think we could be friends if there was a state on the West Bank, a Palestinian state. I see no reason why we shouldn't live side by side. And living here on the border hasn't changed anything for me in that respect.
Overall, who's optimistic that something is going to come out of this? Doron?
I want to be optimistic, and when I'm looking at the political forces in Israel, in the Arab world today, I can't be so optimistic. The only reason that can give me hope is the idea that somehow the big powers, America, maybe Russia, will succeed to put a reasonable pressure on us and the Arabs at the same time, that will force us to do peace that we so much want but can't reach ourselves.
Moni, can I come across to you? You were the eternal optimist earlier on.
Don't make your questions so difficult. if you word them easier.
Optimistic or pessimistic?
Very optimistic. I'm very optimistic, but it's a matter of time. A lot of patience and not to give up hope and not to give up trying. Because I'm sure that in the Arab world, amongst the PLO, amongst the Palestinians, there are people that feel the same way as we do. And it's a matter of time until our views are accepted by a majority of the peoples on both sides. And it won't be easy, because the fanatics or the people who think otherwise, on the Israeli side, I think it will be easier than on the Palestinian side, because of the norms of behavior as far as doing away with your political opponents, assassinations, things like that, which in Israel is not the norm, but which apparently is or has been the norm up to now with the PLO. But I think that as time goes on, with the effect of the Intifada and what is happening in the world around us, with the initiative which will most probably be taken by the Americans and the Russians together to try and bring some kind of order and peace into this area, I'm optimistic that eventually the Arabs and Israelis in this area will be able to live together. I don't say we will hug each other every morning, but work out some kind of formula where we can live together in this area.
I'm very happy. Are you happy, Lee?
Very.
Very happy.
Do the people want some intercuts?
Yeah, oh, I know, it's freezing.
In a complicated way, I think is what you mean.
No, I do
Has
that.
to be-
It's a
no,
matter
you
of
can't
habit.
go away. We just need one more shot. The interview's over,
Can I
but
tell you something?
we need the noddies of them looking at you and each other.
What happens?
And the social idea, living together. It's a community toward, against or towards the evil world, trying to fight it, fight life.
What do you think when you hear people say that it's a way of life that's dying and everything?
I disagree with them. I think that this style of life had